Welcome to the Legal Value Network's Career Advanced Spotlight Series. Today we are welcoming Nigel Laws, Head of Pricing at Withers. It is great to have you.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. As you know, we are putting together a series of interviews with people to highlight areas of interest and career paths and roles that people might be interested in. And so I'd love to just start. Could you tell everybody a little bit about your background, your current role, and kind of what do you do every day?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. As you say, I work for Withers. I joined the firm just over a year ago, so still getting used to the firm actually. And I suppose that's been made a little bit more difficult given the situation with the pandemic. I haven't actually spent a day in the office yet, other than to have the interviews, which happened just before the country went into lockdown. But yeah, the year's flown by in many respects, and I'm very much enjoying it. Yeah, a little bit about myself. I live with my wife and two young daughters in a town called Oxted, which is not too far from London. The girls keep us very busy, and there's never a dull moment, that's fair to say. But yeah, coming back to the role, I say I've been here 12 months, and it's really been a case of laying out the foundations for the pricing program that we've introduced here at Withers. I should add that this is a brand new pricing function. I had no predecessor when I came to Withers. So the focus has been on establishing some governance for the pricing program, speaking to the various stakeholders, listening intently to what they have to say, making sure I've understood what they have to say, getting to know the firm's culture and its politics, of course, because every firm has its politics, and understanding its sort of particular challenges and its sweet spots as well, and that kind of thing. So yeah, very much about laying the foundations, but particularly in the last 6 months, I have to say that we have actually started to deliver some output from the pricing program. For example, we've established some pricing principles that have been shared across the firm. We've established a pricing checklist, and I'm currently about halfway through a quick wins video series. So I'm embracing the technology, given I'm currently working from the spare room at home.
I love the idea of a quick wins video series. You know, we talk a lot about the idea of quick wins and how integral it is to change within any organization, but especially a professional services firm. So that's fantastic. Now, I'm curious, since you came into this role and you were the first one, what kind of background do you have? Was this, your dream job? Did you expect to be here?
Well, I suppose I should start by saying I didn't really aim to be in a pricing role in a law firm. I actually did a French degree at university way back, quite a long time ago now. And having graduated, I took off to France, just to use my language skills. And after a year of teaching English to students at Bordeaux University, and enjoying the local wine, of course, it's a region well known for its wine, I headed to Paris with an open mind, really, and ended up being invited to interview at Lovells, which is now Hogan Lovells, as a billing person, a billing coordinator, and it all stemmed from there, really. After 2.5 years with Lovells, I swapped coffee and croissants for tea and toast, and moved to London, where I joined A&O. In a general reporting role initially, but over the years, and particularly in the wake of the financial crisis, the focus became far more on pricing, and it became a dedicated pricing role. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. I would say I didn't intend for that when I was at school or indeed at university, but I found that my skill set was well suited to this type of role, and here I am.
Fantastic. It's funny, I think to a person now that we've interviewed, nobody even knew these roles existed, right? I didn't know I'd be working in the legal industry either. So other than a lawyer, which is I think where I started out wanting to be. So Of all of the things that you do every day, what do you find to be the most rewarding parts of your job?
I've always felt that being in a pricing role, and compared to many other roles on the business support side, I've always felt in a very privileged position. I've always felt like I'm right on the front line, right on the coalface of the business, helping partners with their pricing, of course, and just generally influencing decision making in a way that directly impacts the firm's revenues and profits. So I find that in itself to be very rewarding. Aside from that, obviously achieving a good outcome from a particular fee negotiation or awkward discussion with a client is rewarding. And just generally being able to work around a lot of other smart people, which tends to be the case in law firms, I find that particularly rewarding as well. I find it rubs off on me, and it just generally keeps me on my toes as well, which is probably no bad thing.
I love that. It's good for you in old age, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it's good to, there's always something to learn from other people. So, it's good to try and seek out those opportunities to learn, to keep learning.
Yes. Hallmark. So if anyone listening or watching is interested in learning more about what you do and really maybe in getting involved in what you do, do you have one piece of advice that you would give to somebody seeking this career?
Yes, I think the piece of advice I would give for this particular type of role is that being able to build credibility is key. Because unless you can build that credibility with your internal client base, you're essentially the partners of the firm, you're unlikely to have the influence which you would want to have, and which the firm's management would want you to have. So I would say that's the piece of advice I'd give. Focus on trying to build that credibility. And that can be done in lots of ways. I think it's important to have a plan. It's important to prepare well for whatever task you have in front of you. And I'd say it's important to take pride in all the work that you do, even the bits which may seem insignificant.
Excellent. I love that. Not that a lawyer would notice any detail or anything, right?
Exactly. No, they're not ones for detail, are they?
So, well, this has been amazing. If anybody is interested in contacting you, is that something that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be very happy to speak to anyone if they'd like to hear a bit more about my path.
Fantastic. And are you on LinkedIn? Is that
I
the best?
am, yes.
Okay,
Yes, I'm on
fantastic.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for all that you've done for the Legal Value Network.
Thanks for inviting me again. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Legal Value Network, so I'll be keeping tuned to what's coming up next.
Fantastic. Great. Have a good one.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Bye.